Alabama and LSU playing maybe for the West. We don't know. Is this a rivalry? Yes, it is. The Crimson Tide and the LSU Tigers, we're previewing it on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show right now.
The Bama Football Tailgate Show, brought to you by Bama Insider and On3 Sports Network, is on the air. The Crimson Tide are rolling, and we got you covered with a breakdown of the game matchup, an SEC preview, and all the fun of a game day on the quad. Broadcasting each home game from the Strip in Tuscaloosa. With Bama Insider and On3 Sports Network experts weekly like Kyle Henderson, Andrew Bone, and Clint Lamb, and more. National championship quarterback Jay Barker, and hosted by former Crimson Tide Sports Network's broadcaster and SEC Network award-winning voice Mick Gillispie. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is presented by Yuengling Lager. Yuengling, America's oldest brewery, the best way to host a Bama tailgate party. Pearl River Resort Casino and Hotel in Choctaw, Mississippi. Let's play. Now featuring the Sportsbook at the Timeout Lounge. Also brought to you by the Flora-Bama world-famous Beach Bar and Lounge in Orange Beach. Genesis of Tuscaloosa, luxury with a national championship service department. Visit Sevierville.com. Your Smokies start here. Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Hyundai, the longer you look, the more there is to like. Innisfree, an Alabama Irish pub tradition. Visit Tuscaloosa. Not too small, not too big. Tuscaloosa is pronounced just right. Owa Theme Park and Resort in Foley, Alabama. NewLifeArt.com, publisher of fine art editions by Daniel A. Moore. Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. R&R Cigar, home of the Victory Cigar, with 2 locations in Tuscaloosa and Northport. Unique on the Strip. Cathead Distillery, proudly distilling award-winning spirits since 2010. Pawn Royale at 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport.
Welcome to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. It's brought to you by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery. And for the next 2 hours, we're going to preview number 6 Alabama at number 10 LSU, according to the College Football Playoff Committee. 6 o'clock at Tiger Stadium. On the show, got a great group for you. Chris Lowe from ESPN is going to jump in. We got Thom Abraham from up north, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We got our buddy Chris Coleman from Unique on the Strip coming by. Reagan from R&R Cigar will be here. Kenny White from out in Vegas will help us as well. Don't forget about Andrew Bone. He's our recruiting expert for Bama Insider on 3. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is presented by Yuengling Lager. Yuengling is a 6th-generation company, and our friend Cheryl Yuengling, who's part of the company's ownership, a proud Alabama grad, puts a little bit of crimson love in each one of those green bottles. And don't forget to try Yuengling Hershey Porter this time of year. I'm Mick Gillispie. Great to be joined by Clint Lamb. We're part of Bama Insider on 3. Alabama's number 6 right now, 7-1. LSU at 5-2. Surprisingly, Clint is number 10. Roll Tide, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Yeah, I was a little bit surprised that they were number 10, to be honest with you. To some degree, it made sense because they did just completely railroad Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is number 11. But at the same time, you got 2 losses, one of those losses being to Florida State. I think that being in week 1 is really helping them. I think the committee is willing to forgive, new head coach, new quarterback with still, 2 freshman offensive linemen in their first ever career starts. I think they're willing to be a little bit more lenient on how they viewed that particular game. And really since then, the only loss, it was a blowout loss, but it was a loss to the number 1 team in the country in Tennessee. So in some ways it makes sense, but do I look at LSU and see the number 10 team in the country? No, I would probably say somewhere between
16.
15 and 20 is exactly what I was going to say. But at the same time, that does not mean you go into Baton Rouge to play the number 15 to 20 team in the country in that hostile environment at night. I mean, it really doesn't matter what you're ranked. That's a tough test. So Alabama's got its hands full, with it being I'm excited to watch the game today. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm with you, man. Hey, look, we're hanging out with you on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up, man. We're at over 80,000 Alabama fans, subscribers. You better be part of that. So make sure that you like and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up. That's a way of saying Roll Tide. Hit the bell so you know when we're live, right? And we're on the radio on our statewide network. Shout out to our friends in Coleman, Alabama. Shout out to our buddies in Jasper. Shout out to everyone that gets our show across the state of Alabama as we talk to you here from the Flora-Bama on the coast of Alabama. This is where we do a lot of our road game shows. And don't forget to join BamaInsider.com. $10 gets you an entire year as Clint Lamb is on there. You get his team coverage. You get Andrew Bones recruiting with Joseph Hastings and everyone that's part of On 3. On 3 right now is taking over the team coverage world, and you guys need to be a part of it, the new world order of covering teams. All right, Bama after the off week, Clint, are they ready?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? I got asked earlier today. I joined Jay Barker's radio show, and they asked, how players were, talking or responding after the bye week with a lot of their answers. Does it feel different? And my answer to them was, it's kind of hard, or really – up to this point, Alabama has said all the right things. It's actually when they had to get on the field and back up what they were saying, right? That's where there's been some disconnect at times. They've done it at times, but then things like making a hateful competitor and wanting to make the home crowd be gone by the end of the third quarter, that kind of thing really hadn't happened. So they've said all the right things. We find out today if they're going to back it up and actually do it, right? And with the next 2 weeks, with it being 2 road games against the number 10 team in the country, more than likely, I guess Ole Miss will be in the top 10 next week if LSU loses. I guess it doesn't matter who loses. I'm guessing Alabama will drop out of the top 10 if they lose to LSU. So either way, Ole Miss is going to be a top 10 team next week. So all these questions that we've had, can they play more disciplined on the road? Can they clean up the penalties? All that stuff's about to get answered over these next 2 weeks.
Yeah, and you just kind of started to talk about my next question. Can they do that? Can they take care of the penalties? What about the lack of discipline on the road? Is that going to change today?
That's the big question. I've assumed up to this point in a lot of these games, hey, this is a chance for them to make a statement. Really, the feel of this Alabama team right now and the way it's being perceived nationally, how last year when they were going into the SEC championship game against Georgia, and everybody's like, this is a really, really good football team, but they're about to get destroyed by Georgia.
Right.
They're not playing a Georgia caliber team right now. I feel like if they were playing a Tennessee or a Georgia or an Ohio State this weekend, you would be getting a lot of those same conversations. For whatever reason, a lot of people are counting this Alabama team out relative to a lot of the other, college football playoff contenders and true national championship contenders. And so you would think that they would, play with a chip on their shoulder, take that personally. We haven't seen it up to this point, but now that they're coming out of the bye week, Nick Saban's talked about, what are you going to allow yourself to kind of focus on? What are you going to, I kind of forget, what are you going to attach yourself to is I think the way that he put it. And it's just, what are you going to worry about crowd? Are you going to worry about the expectations of playing at Alabama? Are you going to worry about the scoreboard and whether you're winning or losing? Or are you going to focus on the things that you can control, which is your approach and doing the things that you need to do to position yourself best to be able to get out there and win? And we'll see if any of that stuff has resonated with the team over the last couple of weeks since, that win against Mississippi State. I'm looking forward to seeing it, but I'm kind of past the point of just saying, hey, I think it's going to happen this weekend. At this point, they just got to get out there and prove it to me.
Bryce Young healthy versus this nasty LSU front. How do you see this battle going?
Really interesting, right? Because, LSU, B.J. Ojulari is one of the best pass rushers in the country. 31, I think, pressures in only 6 games. Both of their 2 easiest games against Southern and then another, non-Power 5 FCS opponent. He didn't participate in either one of those 2 games. And so that means that all 31 of his pressures have come against Power 5, good football teams. And, Tennessee did a pretty good job of keeping him in check. I think he only had 1 pressure in that football game, and in the other, 6 or 7, he's pretty much averaged 6 pressures per game. He's been fantastic. Harold Perkins is a true freshman, 5-star guy. He's really come on strong. I think 20 pressures over his last 6 games. So they've got a great pass rush. And Bryce, when you look at, kind of where he's at, I will be curious to see how much what's crazy is that even though he had been banged up, when he got out there against Tennessee, they let him cut it loose, man. I mean, he was throwing 50-plus times, and so there was no limitations there. But I want to see the timing within the offense and the chemistry with the receivers and all that stuff. I want to see the offense look a little sharper because they've actually been able to practice a little bit more with Bryce Young being able to throw. So I think they're going to look a lot of the scripted stuff and staying on script, I think, should look a little bit better tomorrow, assuming the weather's going to hold up. That's another big question mark.
All right, quickly, Clint, before we take our first break, how important are the next two games in the terms of this Alabama dynasty? At LSU, at Ole Miss?
That's actually a great question because, right now LSU, they brought Brian Kelly, really everybody in the SEC. East, West doesn't matter. Everybody's fighting to be, that top program in the East or the West or, at least be that secondary team that's really threatening pretty much each and every year. We thought that was going to be Texas A&M in the West. So far, you've seen how that's kind of worked out under Jimbo Fisher this year. A lot of 8-4s in the past, and now you're fighting and clawing for an 8-4 this year. So it's LSU that's really with Brian Kelly. They want to establish themselves as one of those premier programs. A lot of pressure on Alabama to be able to hold on to their current status. But as far as the dynasty is concerned, I do think that it's very important because you've now gone, last year, obviously things didn't end the way that you wanted it to. Georgia's continuing to crawl up there. I think they've done a great job of bouncing back after losing all that talent, and they're remaining in the conversation. They're going to be a mainstay each and every year. LSU under Brian Kelly's trying to do the same thing, and I think that if you can get a win this week and the next week and kind of reestablish yourself as the premier program in the West at least, and then go prove yourself in the SEC championship, I think that would go a long way as far as recruiting is concerned and just, the kind of proof that Nick Saban's not going anywhere or Alabama.
Very good point. Very good point. Let me remind you guys that the show is brought to you by our friends at Pearl River Resort and Casino at Choctaw. Now's a great time to make your picks count at the Timeout Sports Lounge and Sportsbook. Brian Kelly said he took the job to beat Alabama. Who is LSU 2022, and can they? We're going to talk more about that. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show. We'll be right back.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
The tradition of giving Daniel A. Moore fine art continues. We're pleased to announce 2 new national championship Giclée print and canvas editions. Remember the Rose Bowl with The Legacy Begins, Alabama's first national championship victory over Washington. And the top of the line, Alabama's 1980 Sugar Bowl triumph over Arkansas for its 11th title. Major Oakley autographed editions available. Visit New Life Art Gallery in Hoover or DanielMooreArt.com for these exciting new releases.
Tuscaloosa is Alabama's ultimate sports destination and a place for outdoor enthusiasts to thrive. It's a community rooted in history and one that's on the cusp of a burgeoning art scene too. Tuscaloosa is vibrant, it's charming, and it's familiar. Its people welcome you with open arms and warm hellos into a community that's tied together. Tuscaloosa is our home.
Touchdown! Hey guys, look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays, you'll be making the bets, and finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
Nothing compares to being at the game in person, but the next best thing has to be Flora-Bama's Old River Grill. There's over 40 TVs, a game day atmosphere, your favorite drinks, and a football menu that will blow you away. Santa Fe egg rolls, traditional jumbo chicken wings, grilled cheese and chili cheese dogs, and you've got to try our tender pork shank served with a tropical habanero sauce. We call them Island Pig Wings. Flora-Bama's Old River Grill, the perfect game day when you can't be there in person. Flora-Bama's Old River Grill, across the street from the world-famous Flora-Bama.
There's a new place where thrill meets chill, where the fun is always tropical cool, inside and out. The park at OWA is now Tropic Falls Theme Park, joined by the all-new indoor water park now open. Come to OWA and experience Tropic Falls. It's like nothing you've ever seen, with 23 theme park rides and 11 new indoor water park slides, complete with lazy river and arcade. All at Tropic Falls, only at OWA Parks and Resort. Buy your tickets online and save at visitowa.com.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines two of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
In LSU, this is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, and we are broadcasting from the Flora-Bama down here on the coast in Orange Beach, Perdido Key. And while we're here, the 38th annual Frank Brown International Songwriters Festival is actually taking place. So all the great things that go on here at the Flora-Bama, this is one of those big events, and everyone thinking of Joe Gilchrist. He was the founder. This is the first one since we lost Joe, so it's still a very fantastic place to be, and a lot of the great songwriters and music are here performing songs that you would recognize, but these are the guys that actually wrote them for some of the big artists. And let me remind you guys this as well, before Clint and I get back into Alabama and LSU talk, that the show is presented by Cathead, the first legal distillery in the state of Mississippi, founded in 2010 by friends and fellow Alabama grads, Austin Evans and Richard Patrick, to create small batch spirits to give the taste of the South in every sip, right? Best known for its flagship Cathead vodka, Cathead Distillery produces 5 award-winning brands today, including Bristow Gin, Hoodoo Chicory Liqueur, Old Soul Bourbon Whiskey, and Cathead Sparkling Canned Cocktails. Find out for yourself and pick some up for your next tailgate party at catheaddistillery.com. We're going to do a Cathead Bloody Mary at the end of the show, Clint. So we can't do any harm to ourselves at that point.
No, you're 100% correct. Can we get that guy back that was very obsessed with the camera? Could we maybe?
He wanted to be on the show. He was like, "Where's Clint? I see him, but I can't get to him."
I mean, it was. I felt like I was as I was trying to respond to that one of those last questions. I felt like I was being watched. It's awesome though. I love it, man.
You make friends here at the Flora-Bama. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's actually a pretty good place to watch football as well. And don't forget, after the game, you can join us on YouTube, on the Bama Insider YouTube channels. We break things down right after the game ends. All right, Clint, let's get back into some football. Brian Kelly and the Tigers with a signature win over Ole Miss, now Alabama.
Are you saying that what?
Not saying that they're going to beat Alabama, but I'm saying now they're playing Alabama.
Yeah. It's like I said, Brian Kelly was brought to LSU for this very reason. That's what he said. He wanted to come to LSU for these types of games, and you're getting it at home. If you're Brian Kelly, you're about to get the full LSU Baton Rouge at night experience, because it's going to be electric. I can guarantee you that it's going to, because not only has Alabama won 10 of the last 11, And, I've had a lot of success winning national championships, and they've done it with LSU's former coach and Nick Saban. It's a matter of, they got a taste of that success in 2019 with Joe Burrow and that particular team. And then not only did they fall off, they fell off significantly to a point where a national championship winning head coach in a matter of a year and a half after winning the national title was getting fired. So, this is a hungry fan base. This is why they went out and they made sure that they secured a Lincoln Riley, Brian Kelly caliber coach, was willing to fork over the money, and they've got every opportunity to get a signature win, and it is at home. It would be a lot more difficult on them going to Tuscaloosa, but that's just how it fell. And it makes this game a lot more interesting because I think if it was in Tuscaloosa, I'd probably be picking Alabama definitely to cover the spread. I think I probably have them closer to a 10-point, win projected currently. But at the same time, though, it's anything can happen today.
Yeah, how good is Jaden Daniels? I don't say Jalen, but it's Jaden Daniels.
It was so interesting, right? Because he's played phenomenal football over the last 2 weeks. I mean, he's averaged, right around 300 yards passing. He's had, I want to say, between 80 to 85 rushing yards on average. So he's sitting there around 380 yards. He's averaged 5.5 touchdowns. And it's been, against not great defenses in Florida and Ole Miss. And I think that needs to be taken into consideration. But at the same time, Auburn didn't have a great defense, the game before that, this 2-game stretch, and he almost got benched. So you've seen the bad from him, but you've also seen him start to grow a little bit. I think the offensive line, this is the thing about playing the true freshman tackles, right? Start off kind of rocky and rough, but with each passing game and each passing experience, the guys are getting better, and now they're starting to play up to the caliber in which they, were recruited, which was top 100 prospects. Will Campbell was, a 5-star, I think, according to ESPN. So both tackles are still young. I think that plays a huge, advantage, for Alabama. But this is a very different football team than the one that came out against Florida State in week 1. And Jaden Daniels has been a huge part of that. He can beat you with his legs. He can beat you with his arm. He's got options in the passing game. He's got perimeter receivers that can go up and win, vertically downfield, bigger body guys. He's got guys who can win in the slot. I understand Kayshon Boutte hadn't had the type of season that a lot of people were predicting. But since they moved him from being almost exclusively a perimeter wide receiver into the slot, I think he's playing north of 90% of his snaps in the slot the last several weeks, last 4 or 5. His production has increased. Is he, being this star caliber player? He's still not that guy, but at least he's starting to contribute and get involved in the game plan. So they got him, Jack Beck. We think he's probably going to be back, who's another kind of wide receiver, tight end hybrid, who's going to play a lot of his snaps from the slot last year, 5 catches for 33 yards and a touchdown against Alabama. So fans should be very familiar with him. He represented LSU at SEC Media Days. So he's an important part of the offense, and he's dealt with injuries all throughout fall camp and then throughout pretty much the entire year. So it's been a slow season for him so far, but getting him back just gives LSU another option. So Daniels has got good weapons to throw to. He's going to have the home crowd at his back to where he's not going to have as much pressure on him as he would maybe in Tuscaloosa. And he's, got an offensive line that, I got to be honest with you, it's been pretty rough. And I do, like I said, I think that really plays in Alabama's advantage, but it's at least better than it was at the beginning of the year. So I think as the offensive line's improved, Jaden Daniels has improved, and I don't think that's a coincidence.
Bama's had so much success in Baton Rouge, 29-9-2 over the years. Why is that?
That's a great question. That's one of those stats to me that's mind-blowing to me because of the environment, because of the fact that LSU likes playing these types of games at night and really gets their fan base riled up before it happens. And Alabama's they've had some good football teams that have been willing and able to go on the road in a hostile environment and handle the elements and handle whatever's thrown at them from that perspective. Last year, this LSU game was in Tuscaloosa. So even though Alabama's had road struggles the last couple of years, they haven't had to go to Baton Rouge yet. But now we're finally going to get to see them. And can they kind of get over a lot of that anxiety that they've been playing with throughout this year? And you can kind of tell that last year there was some anxiety as well. I'll be very curious to see how that ends up, holding up, because that's a very important factor. I think that where this game is being played is one of the top factors because of the way that Alabama has not been able to perform on the road. But at the same time, at some point, I'm expecting them to right that ship, and that could be this week.
All right, final question for you, Clint, on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. And as you hang out with us on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. And if you're listening on radio, hey, man, Roll Tide, thank you so much for being here as we preview Alabama and LSU at 6 o'clock. He's Clint Lamb, and I'm Mick Gillispie. What will today's game tell us?
Assuming the weather holds up, because that changes everything. I think that it's going to make both offenses a lot more one-dimensional. I think that it plays in Alabama's favor, probably, but it is something to at least monitor. I think it's going to hold up, which is, going to be a good thing. You want to be able to see these teams perform at their best. But assuming that the weather does hold up, I think, like I said, the most important thing for Alabama is to be able to prove, hey, we are improving. The penalties that have been a problem, we're taking care of those. We had the bye week. We're getting our focus back in the right place. We're doing the little things that we need to do. We're cleaning up a lot of this stuff, the unnecessary mistakes, the trying to jump on a punt return that, had no business, trying to recover at all. It's terrible snaps on special teams against Arkansas. It's things like that. It's stop shooting yourself in the foot, because it's kind of miraculous that you're 7-1 right now, considering how much they've done it. And if they can get those kind of things, the penalties and the unnecessary mistakes and all that stuff cleaned up, I would be very curious to see how good this Alabama team is, because I think there are some limitations, but at the same time, I don't think it's any more than any other team in the country right now. So, I think that this is a great opportunity for Alabama to kind of reestablish itself as one of the top contenders for a national championship. And, if you can get a win this week, you're in great position. You still got to go to Ole Miss next week. That's not going to be any sort of easy test, but, it starts with getting a win this weekend against LSU.
Awesome stuff. Clint Lamb, and you guys can check his work out, BamaInsider.com. He's the team writer covering the Crimson Tide every day for Bama on 3. Hey, let me tell you guys this. You see this picture right here, Nick Saban? We're going to give this away. It's part of our New Life Art collection. Someone here at the Flora-Bama is going to win that today. And let me tell you about another picture. Crimson Connection is Daniel Amore's tribute in oils to Bryce Young's Alabama's 4th Heisman Trophy winner, right? Bryce Young won that last year. This full-colored oil painting depicts Bryce Young's memorable Heisman-worthy go-ahead pinpoint pass to John Mechie in the corner of the end zone as the Tide dismantled Georgia and their defense in last year's SEC championship game. Signed by Bryce Young. We're actually giving one away at Innisfree Iron Bowl show. Find out for yourself. Pick one up yourself. NewLifeArt.com. And don't forget, 25% off all Alabama versus LSU. Includes limited edition and framing. No discount code needed at NewLifeArt.com. When we come back, we're going to talk to Thom Abraham from up in North Alabama, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. He joins us each and every week. We'll hear from Andrew Bone, hanging out with you at the Flora-Bama here in Perdido Key on the coast. It's our home when Bama's on the road. More Bama Insider Tailgate Show right after this.
Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. Side stickers mean you pay thousands more. Everything is value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. No additional dealer markups. It's just that simple. So if you're tired of getting stuck with side stickers, no additional markup is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyline and Hargrove.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball.
Hi, Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. Side stickers mean you pay thousands more. Everything is value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. No additional dealer markups. It's just that simple. So if you're tired of getting stuck with side stickers, no additional markup is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyline and Hargrove.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines two of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Check out Pawn Royale at 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport. The summer season is almost over. Time to go to Pawn Royale and find some amazing deals. Right now, our lawn and gardening inventory must go. That includes mowers, trimmers, blowers, chainsaws, you name it. Pawn Royale has deals on everything. Many items at cost or less. If you're in the market, come make a deal. That's Pawn Royale, 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport.
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip. The best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
Touchdown! Hey guys, look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays. You'll be making the bets. And finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
Tuscaloosa is Alabama's ultimate sports destination and a place for outdoor enthusiasts to thrive. It's a community rooted in history and one that's on the cusp of a burgeoning art scene too. Tuscaloosa is vibrant, it's charming, and it's familiar. Its people welcome you with open arms and warm hellos into a community that's tied together. Tuscaloosa is our home.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yingling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, near Home 2 Suites, or Northport, next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, getting you set for Alabama, LSU, kickoff 6 o'clock at Tiger Stadium. The Crimson Tide and LSU battling to see maybe who goes to Atlanta, Alabama, and LSU both with a week off. Last week, a lot of guys got to go home, and maybe they could have gone to Sevierville. This segment brought to you by Visit Sevierville. Sevierville has 4 different self-guided fall tours along the back roads that highlight historical points of interest and beautiful fall views. You can find maps and videos and more at sevierville.com/fall. And I'm telling you, it is really the time of year to check it out.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Always great to talk with our good buddy Thom Abraham from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, host of the Thom Abraham Show. You know him from Bassmasters Radio. What is up, my brother, and how are things in North Alabama?
Oh, they're outstanding up here. And, of course, such a huge weekend in the SEC. Of course, the Alabama-LSU game that is coming up. And then earlier, this Tennessee-Georgia game. It was really interesting throughout the week, Mick, talking to a lot of Alabama fans that really want Tennessee to win that game. They want them to win this game because they want a shot at them again in Atlanta, more so than Georgia, even though Georgia might be a little bit better of a matchup for Alabama.
No, look, I totally agree. Tennessee, you wonder in their game that they're playing with Georgia if they're going to have the same officials that they had throughout the game against the Crimson Tide, right? I mean, they got every single call, but they're also a really good team, and they're number one right now, which is it's so much like when Alabama played LSU. President Trump came to town. Bama was number one, but LSU was number one in 2019, depending on where you looked. That's the same case for that game. And every Alabama fan I've talked to say, hey, let's play Tennessee, but let's talk about Alabama and LSU. We'll swing back over and talk about that game too. How important is this game, Alabama and LSU today?
Oh, it's massive. I mean, Alabama has got their back against the wall, and they only have one route to Atlanta, and that's beat LSU, and then next week go to Oxford and beat Ole Miss. So, I mean, this is, any wiggle room they had disappeared up there in Tennessee when they had those 17 penalties. Not all of them questionable ones. A lot of them pre-snap, can't get lined up right, jumping off sides. We saw none of that against Mississippi State. 0 penalties on the offense. The one kid lined up wrong on a punt. That was it. A couple of meaningless penalties late on the defense. Only 3 penalties against the Tide in that game. That's the way they need to play. And I think that's what we need to see tonight in this game against LSU, that they're not having self-inflicted wounds, because you don't want that crowd jumping on you early. You don't want to have yourself be backed up and then have a problem. And the next thing you know, they're getting all lathered up and you're trailing 10-3, and you don't want any of that. You want to do a little bit of what Tennessee did at LSU, figure out a way to take the crowd out early, let them turn on their own, let them turn on each other, and try and get them out of that game early if you can. Bryce Young
needed the time to rest. We've heard about his injury, right? We saw him leave the Arkansas game, and then from my reports, he either didn't practice or didn't practice much during the weeks leading into Tennessee and then Mississippi State. They say he's ready to go against LSU, but I think back to that Tennessee game, Tom, and I'm like, well, what else could he do? I mean, he was still amazing.
Yeah, no, he was amazing. There was no doubt about it. I had bigger issues with the defense. I had, issues with how the defense attacked Hendon Hooker, especially late in that game. But again, the defense played so well against a really decent Mississippi State team. And I know Alabama's been dominating Mississippi State, especially with Mike Leach. I get all of that. But what they did in that game was they were very aggressive defensively. And I think that's what they need to do tonight, with Jaden Daniels, and to try and control this LSU offense, which has gotten better and better as the season has gone on. Are they number 10 in the country, as the College Football Playoff Committee says? I don't know. I'm a little skeptical about that. And it is interesting that, the College Football Playoff is basically owned by ESPN. And this game, of course, on ESPN tonight. And all of a sudden, it goes from being a 6v15 game to a 6v10 game. So you can draw your conclusions if you want, but it certainly is a saltier looking matchup at that point.
Hanging out with Thom Abraham on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. We appreciate you guys being with us as well. If you're watching on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. If you're listening on 97.7 ESPN The Zone or anywhere around the state of Alabama, roll tide, everybody. We appreciate you being here as we preview this game. Talking about this Alabama team, they go down to LSU. Tom, you've been in this business a long time. I've been in this business a long time. Went to Alabama. I've been around it I feel like for most of my life. Why does Alabama play so well down in Baton Rouge?
I don't know. I mean, there's really no real good answer for that. It's always been a recruiting hotbed for Alabama. And then you go through a long period of time going all the way back into the Bear Bryant era and beyond, where I think Alabama won 25 out of 28 games during this series, when LSU wasn't very good. I mean, they just were not very good. And so, we've had a situation, of course, during the Saban years, and there's that connection, obviously, with Saban and his history at LSU. But we had a time where a couple of times LSU was able to dump Alabama. But for the most part, Alabama has still been very, very strong down there. Sometimes it takes a special play, like the one that A.J. McCarron hooked up on with T.J. Yeldon, late in that game to get that drive, to get that victory. But I don't know that there's any real good reason other than the fact that the Tide usually rise to the occasion for big games. And I still think there's a decent amount of Alabama fans down there. It's a recruiting hotbed, so it's an important game that way. And they get to wear their home uniforms. Maybe they think they're at home. I don't know.
Right. That's kind of like the big tradition where they always wear white. The Tigers want to wear white at home, and kind of like the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL, right? But Alabama's had all this success against LSU. LSU has had success against Alabama and Tuscaloosa. Nick Saban used to be the head coach of the Tigers and kind of got things turned around. But let's get back to this Tennessee against Georgia game. I'm going to ask you straight up, are these the two best teams in the SEC?
I have them as the two best teams because they've been the most consistent teams. They have been the teams that have played, the most solid throughout. And the only reason I don't have Alabama in with those top two is because Alabama has been a team that has been undisciplined and had a lot of self-inflicted wounds, or one of the most penalized teams in the entirety of college football. Again, though, if they're the Alabama team that played against Mississippi State and they play with discipline and they fly around defensively and they only have a few penalties, now they're very much the equal of those other two teams. But if you're asking me, would Alabama be third if they were in the SEC East? I'm not sure I'm going there. The good news is that they've already got one under their belt against Tennessee. And let's be honest, yes, Tennessee wins the game. We give them all the credit in the world. It's a field goal late against an Alabama team that played poorly throughout that football game. And if Alabama makes the field goal with 15 seconds to go, a very makeable field goal, what are we talking about now? What's the narrative now? Georgia, we'll wait and see. I don't feel like they've been really tested very much throughout their schedule. Great win against Oregon to open the season, but I don't think they've been tested a ton. Of course, they're going at it right now, so it'll be very interesting to see how this one comes out. But Alabama's got a lot of work to do in the West to get to Atlanta and play basically the winner of this game.
All right, well, let me ask you this then. If Alabama wins, explain. If Alabama loses, explain.
How it happened? Why it happened?
Well, just what would happen? I mean, what are we looking at here?
Well, if Alabama loses, LSU's in the driver's seat. I mean, if Alabama loses, now they've got to beat, they would have to beat Ole Miss and hope that, Arkansas, that somebody can knock off LSU. It will put LSU absolutely clear path right to Atlanta. So it kind of changes everything. I mean, we're looking at that 2010 season, that 9-3 type of season that they had in 2010, where they're going to be playing on some New Year's Day bowl game. Maybe they'd be playing in a consolation game like, the Sugar Bowl. I mean, it's crazy the way it's set up now. If they win this game, they're going to be a 2-touchdown favorite or a double-digit favorite anyway at Ole Miss, and it sets them up for the run to Atlanta. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I expect that they do win the game. By the way, I don't know that they cover a 13.5-point line. I know the odds makers have that number out there. I think they win the game, but they win the game by 10 points, and it feels fairly comfortable, but doesn't cover 13.5 points.
Well put. All right, final question, and it has nothing to do with these two teams. Brian Harsin fired by Auburn. No surprise there. John Cohen, who's a very competitive guy, used to coach baseball at Kentucky, played and then coached, and then was the AD at Mississippi State. He leaves his alma mater to go down to Auburn. Now he's got to find a head coach. Who's Thom Abraham's choice to be head coach? Someone that's going to take the job.
Well, I think you have to make Lane Kiffin say no 3 times. I mean, that's why. I mean, I think you got to be all over Lane Kiffin here. Lane Kiffin is hitting his head against the ceiling at Ole Miss. This is as good as it gets for Ole Miss. Win 10 games, they throw you a parade. That's about it. Ole Miss does not play for conference championships. They do not play for national championships. Auburn, as bad as they have been for the last few years, since the turn of the century, this century, they've still played for the national championship a couple of times. They've played for several SEC championships and been an SEC champion a few times. So Auburn, I still feel, is a better job ultimately than the Ole Miss job. He's already making grumblings, Lane Kiffin, about the fans, not showing up for certain games. It's a much smaller stadium than there is at Jordan-Hare. And it's the best job available in the SEC. Think about it. I mean, Texas A&M isn't opening up now with an $86 million buyout for Jimbo. You don't want to be the guy that follows Nick Saban, and I don't know that he would be invited to interview for the Alabama job anyway. LSU was taken care of for years. Georgia is solid with Kirby Smart. Where else are you going? He's certainly not going. Tennessee is locked up. He would never be welcome back on the Hill. This is the next great job in the SEC, and I think he could do great at Auburn. The Deion stuff, it would be fun for us in the business. It would be wonderful to cover. It would be, a week-long Aflac commercial every week. It'd be great. But come on, I mean, I don't see that happening. And then you start going down the list. Hugh Freeze, I know that name is out there. He just signed an extension. He's supposedly now this big honorable guy. So you're not going to honor at least a few years of that contract at Liberty. Plus, I still just can't get out what he did. I just can't get out of my head. So to me, it's Lane, and then if you can't get him to go, and I don't know why he wouldn't take it, then you start looking in another direction.
Always great talking to our buddy Thom Abraham, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, host of the Thom Abraham Show, and also part of Bassmaster Radio, and he joins us each and every week here on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Hey, let me remind you that the show is presented in part by Tuscaloosa Hyundai, the Elantra, the Sinatra, or an SUV like the Tucson. Tailgating doesn't get any better, and also recruiting doesn't get any better. When we come back, Andrew Bone's going to tell us about the 5-star commitment, a quarterback out of California that'll be part of the class. Just saying, we're going to be talking about that when we come back. More Bama Insider Tailgate Show right after. The first legal distillery in the state of Mississippi. Founded in 2010 by friends and fellow Alabama grads Austin Evans and Richard Patrick to create small batch spirits that give the taste of the South with every sip. Best known for its flagship Cathead Vodka, Cathead Distillery produces 5 award-winning brands. Find out for yourself and pick some up for your next party or tailgate. CatheadDistillery.com.
Touchdown! Hey guys, look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays, you'll be making the bets, and finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
Make this Christmas one to remember with the classical gift of Daniel A. Moore Fine Art. From heirloom quality limited edition prints and canvases to our smaller collegiate classics, collector mugs, and 2023 Crimson and White Fine Art calendar, you'll find the perfect gifts that your Bama fans will treasure for years to come. Don't miss our exciting holiday specials. Visit New Life Art Gallery in Hoover or DanielMooreArt.com today.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager, a medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Nothing compares to being at the game in person, but the next best thing has to be Flora-Bama's Old River Grill. There's over 40 TVs, a game day atmosphere, your favorite drinks, and a football menu that will blow you away. Santa Fe egg rolls, traditional jumbo chicken wings, grilled cheese and chili cheese dogs, and you've got to try our tender pork shank served with a tropical habanero sauce. We call them Island Pig Wings. Flora-Bama's Old River Grill, the perfect game day when you can't be there in person. Flora-Bama's Old River Grill, across the street from the world-famous Flora-Bama.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines two of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Back on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, getting you ready for Alabama and LSU. Big battle. We appreciate all you guys being here as the Crimson Tide play in Death Valley at 6 o'clock. And big one as far as the way that things are going to go this year. If Alabama wins, maybe they're in the driver's seat for Atlanta. If they lose, all of a sudden it's all about LSU and who's going to face the winner of the East. Before we get into that, I want to talk some recruiting with the best in the business, Mr. Andrew Bone from Bama Insider, now part of On 3. This segment is presented by the great people at Tuscaloosa Hyundai.
Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. Side stickers mean you pay thousands more. Everything is value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. No additional dealer markup. It's just that simple. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced. So if you're tired of getting stuck with side stickers, no additional markup is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyline and Hargrove.
All right, take a championship drive over to Tuscaloosa Hyundai. They bring you this segment each and every week. All right, here he is, Andrew Bone. Let's talk recruiting, Bone. Alabama rolling. They just got a 5-star quarterback commitment, not for next recruiting class, but 2024.
Yeah, Julian Sang announced his commitment to Alabama on Wednesday. Yeah, huge commitment for the Crimson Tide, number 14 overall player, according to On3. Consensus team rank or player rankings, definitely a huge pickup because, you never really know how things are going to unfold, with next year's class when you have 2 quarterback commitments already in the 2023 class with Eli Holstein and Dylan Lonergan. Was Alabama going to be able to get an early big commitment or even a big commitment overall at the quarterback position, regardless if it was in November or next November, were they going to be able to pull in a top flight quarterback? And they went out to, the state of California. They were able to land the, number 1 recruit in California for 2024. And Julian Sang, he has visited Alabama a few times, which included his last trip to Tuscaloosa for the Mississippi State game a few weeks ago. And during that visit, he had an opportunity to, spend some time with Coach Saban, Coach Bill O'Brien, on Saturday, but then on Sunday he got a little bit more opportunity to hang out with the coaching staff, his parents, who had attended his brother's football game at Penn on Saturday. Flew down to Birmingham, drove down to Tuscaloosa on Sunday, so they were able to spend a little bit more time with the Alabama coaching staff, kind of get their take on what they see in Julian, where he fits in with their system, and I think everything he saw and heard from the Alabama coaching staff and everybody that's associated. He felt confident. He felt very comfortable, and he knows that Alabama is a place that can develop elite quarterbacks. And he's seen that time and time again. And, the starting quarterback at Alabama right now, Heisman Trophy winner, but he's also from the state of California. He was the number one recruit in California a few years back, and now Alabama's gone back out there and landed another one. So obviously, I know how fans are. Oh, well, he's only a junior. There's so much that can change between now and next year. But he seems pretty locked in, regardless of who the offensive coordinator might be. I had an opportunity to talk to his quarterback trainer, who even mentioned it. Said, we know that if Bill O'Brien's there, great. If he's not there, we know that Coach Saban's going to bring in an elite offensive mind, and the offensive system really hasn't changed much over the last 3 or 4 offensive coordinators in Tuscaloosa, but they continue to produce elite talent at the position. He knows the type of players that he's going to be throwing the ball to, and the guys that are going to be blocking for him here in the future. So that quarterback room at Alabama after Bryce Young leaves is going to be really talented, but it's also going to create some a lot of intrigue, because they have recruited really well at the position, and there are some top end guys that are going to be in that group, and it's certainly going to make some great competition. And hopefully we'll see the next big superstar from this group, who's going to end up emerging as that leader at the quarterback position. It could be a few guys, and I'm sure Alabama fans and Alabama coaches certainly hope they can continue to produce elite quarterbacks and continue to attract elite quarterbacks to Tuscaloosa.
All right, Bone, quickly tell us who the next guys to maybe commit to Alabama, or who you feel like might be leaning in that direction are.
Well, one guy that we're going to be watching pretty closely this weekend is Kavion Henderson, in-state defensive lineman from Leeds High School. Not really sure if he's going to end up being an interior and exterior type guy. I think he's 6'2", about 250 pounds right now. Does he end up being a defensive end? He plays a little bit on the edge, but I think he ends up growing into that defensive end role. We'll see if he might get a little bit bigger and potentially grow into a defensive tackle. But right now, expecting him defensive end. He'll be announcing a decision on Sunday. Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Oklahoma, all on his short list. But I do like Alabama's chance with Kavion. He's been to Tuscaloosa, I believe, 4 times this football season. Only visited Auburn. That's the only other school he's visited this season. Went down there for the Penn State game, and with them not having a head coach right now, outside of an interim head coach with Cadillac Williams, I just don't see him going to Auburn. So I like Alabama's chance with Kavion. There's some other big targets that are going to be making decisions over the course of the next month or so, including Memphis commitment, Arian Carter, 4-star linebacker out of Smyrna High School in Tennessee. I think Alabama's got a really good chance to land his commitment. Jaron Hamilton, a 4-star wide receiver out of Gainesville, Florida, also likely to commit towards the end of the month. He's going to be taking an official to Alabama here for the Iron Bowl. One other big name that we're going to be watching pretty closely over the course of the next few weeks is Davion Hobbs, the 5-star defensive lineman out of North Carolina. He's in Georgia this weekend visiting the Bulldogs for his official visit. He's already taken his officials to Alabama and Tennessee, was in Tuscaloosa for the Mississippi State game. But he was also in Knoxville for their big win against the Crimson Tide. So we'll see how it all unfolds with Davion Hobbs. But I do think that it's a very tight battle between the Crimson Tide, Vols, and Bulldogs. So we'll see how his visit with Georgia goes this weekend, and then hopefully try to make a little bit better informed prediction on what he's going to end up doing here on November the 25th when he announces his college commitment.
Right on. Andrew Bone, big part of our show. He's been with us since the very beginning, and you guys know him from BamaInsider.com, which right now is a good time for you to join Bama on 3, BamaInsider.com. You can get that for $10 an entire year, or $1 for 4 months just to check it out. But you're presented on our show each week by Andrew J. Bone Real Estate.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We've got a great real estate company, residential, in Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. So if you're looking to buy or sell in either one of those markets, please be sure to give us a call. We can certainly help you out. 205-531-5600. 5577. That's our office phone number. And you can ask for me, or you can just ask to be shown a property by one of our agents, and they'll be more than happy to help.
Awesome. Andrew Bone, always a big part of our show. You know who else is a big part of our show is Tuscaloosa. Visit Tuscaloosa. Know about Tuscaloosa. Alabama on the road against LSU and Ole Miss, but that doesn't mean that you can't swing by the Tuscaloosa Farmers Market. That takes place every Saturday right there on River Market, or at River Market, from 7 to noon. I was going to say River Road, but it's now Jack Warner Parkway. Tuscaloosa Civil Rights Trail, that's a self-guided tour that has 18 stops around T-Town. You got the amphitheater, the music hall, and a bunch of other great stuff going on. First hour of the Bama Insider Tailgate Show in the books. When we come back, we're going to talk more Alabama and LSU. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Check out Pawn Royale at 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport. The summer season is almost over. Time to go to Pawn Royale and find some amazing deals. Right now, our lawn and gardening inventory must go. That includes mowers, trimmers, blowers, chainsaws, you name it. Pawn Royale has deals on everything. Many items at cost or less. If you're in the market, come make a deal. That's Pawn Royale, 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport.
Hi, Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. Side stickers mean you pay thousands more. Everything is value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. No additional dealer markups. It's just that simple. So if you're tired of getting stuck with side stickers, no additional markup is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
Cathead, the first legal distillery in the state of Mississippi. Founded in 2010 by friends and fellow Alabama grads Austin Evans and Richard Patrick to create small batch spirits that give the taste of the South with every sip. Best known for its flagship Cathead Vodka, Cathead Distillery produces 5 award-winning brands. Find out for yourself and pick some up for your next party or tailgate. CatheadDistillery.com.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yingling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, near Home 2 Suites, or Northport, next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip. The best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Time for the second hour of the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, always brought to you by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery. And as we talk to you, we are at the Flora-Bama, down on the coast, right on the coast. Perdido Key, half of the bars in Alabama, the other half's in Florida, right? Well, you know what I'm talking about. This place has been around forever. It's world famous, and this is our home when Alabama is on the road. They take on LSU at 6 o'clock today, and we are previewing that game right now here on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. We hit 80,000 subscribers on the Bama Insider YouTube channel last week. You guys have made this enormous. You guys have made it the best in the business, and we appreciate that. If you're not a member yet, all you got to do on the YouTube channel is like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. That's a way of saying roll tide as we hang out with you here and talk Alabama football. Barry Buckner, our good friend, and his staff bring you award-winning service anytime you go to Genesis of Tuscaloosa, right there on Hargrove Road in Skyland and Tuscaloosa. Find out for yourself. If you buy a Genesis and you need it serviced, you need an oil change, you need something done, they come to your house, they drop off another car, they take it, they fix it, they give the oil change, whatever they need, and they bring it back. They are the best in the business. All right, so the second hour of the show starts with a good friend, Chris Lowe from ESPN. He is the man. I think he's the best in the business. Chris, how you been, bro? What's going on?
Nick, Nick shows you how good of friends you are. I call you Nick.
We're best
right?
friends. I'll go by Nick, though.
Nick, it's great to be with you. Just like I think everybody else, pretty stoked about November, and that's sort of where we figure out, who's what and who's not in college football. And today we've got two great games: Bama, LSU, Tennessee, Georgia. I think certainly three of those four are right in the middle of the playoff hunt still. And I don't know that LSU could get there, and it'd take a strange set of circumstances with two losses, but they can certainly play spoiler. So it's if you're a college football junkie, Mick, this is the time of year that you live for.
Is there a power shift going on right now in the SEC? And I say that because I'm looking at Tennessee and what they're doing. They're playing Georgia. They're the number one team, college football playoff. Maybe Georgia's the number one team because they're the number one team in the coaches and the AP poll. But is there a shift going on right now in the SEC, in your opinion?
Tennessee's made it more balanced at the top. I mean, you really had two teams there for the last – well, that's not fair. LSU won it all in 19, but Bama and Georgia consistently over the last 5-6 years have been elite pretty much every year. LSU had that great year in 2019. So now all of a sudden you got Tennessee, another team from the East that's, number one and having just this dream season. And I think as long as Josh Heupel's there, they're going to continue to play at a high level. I mean, his offense has just been out of sight. And I'd be interested to say, Mick, they're going to recruit better and get better players in there, even than they have right now. People want to play. Kids want to play in that kind of offense. So, yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know that Tennessee is going to have the kind of stretch that Alabama or Georgia has had. That speaks for itself. Georgia's won a championship. They played for another one. What Nick's done there in his 16 years, 6 national titles. I don't know that we'll ever see anybody duplicate that. But just some of the not-so-usual suspects. Tennessee sort of getting back to a level that it hasn't been at, in 2 decades. I think that's probably – it's not probably. It is good for the conference because, for all the SEC has done, it has been top-heavy the last few years with mostly Alabama and Georgia. So now you got Tennessee making a run. LSU had its great year in 19. We'll see what Lane Kiffin can do at Ole Miss. He's got a chance to win at least 10 games for the second straight year. Is he in play at Auburn? There's a lot of questions like that, but the conference is better, in my opinion.
Is Lane Kiffin going to Auburn?
Well, I was going to say, I think it's when you have strength on both sides. It looks like we have that. I don't know. I mean, I think Lane is pretty content right now at Ole Miss. They're paying him $7.5 million. He's winning. I think he's getting pretty much what he wants to run that program. Do they have the resources and the NIL money that Auburn does? Probably not. I don't think Lane is driven purely by what his salary is. He's driven by being able to win championships and compete at the highest level. And he loves to poke at people, and he loves to get under people's skin. We know that with whether it's Nick Saban, whether it's Jimbo Fisher.
Right.
So he would fit or check the box, Mick, of what I think Auburn needs is someone who's not afraid to get in the middle of those tussles with Kirby on one side and Nick on the other, and really go at him on the recruiting trail. But I don't know that Lane is really just jonesing to leave Ole Miss right now. I think his daughter's with him, his oldest daughter is living there with him in Oxford. And he's really become the toast of that town. They've given him, I think, everything and then some that he's asked for to get that program to where he wants to. But it is a new era. And if you don't have a lot of money stocked into your collective fund, then you're going to have a hard time competing, because every player you recruit now, I say every player, 90% of them, the first question they're going to ask is, tell me about your NIL deals, your program. What type of offers or deals can you get me if I come there? I mean, that's moms are asking that, kids are asking that, granddads, brothers, uncles. That's where it is. And I think the other part is transfer portal. Lane has done a nice job at Ole Miss at going out and getting players who made a difference right away. You can turn it around quicker than you used to, Mick. You can go in that transfer portal when you get the right kids in the right spots. I'm talking about, whether it's quarterback or corner or offensive line, a big-time skill player on the perimeter. Those guys are able to come in and play and make a difference a lot quicker than even if you sign a 4- or 5-star kid who's never played college football.
Talking with Chris Lowe from ESPN on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, getting you ready for Alabama and LSU 6 o'clock tip-off from Death Valley and Tiger Stadium. Over the years, Chris, Alabama's had a lot of success against the Tigers in Baton Rouge. I mean, this goes back to Bear Bryant. I don't know why, but they've had so much success. When you look at Brian Kelly and this Tigers team, which finds themselves now in the top 10, according to the College Football Playoff and their rankings, what do you see?
Well, first of all, I love the old stories, maybe the urban legend about the Bears standing in the tunnel there at Tiger Stadium, talking to the tiger in the cage. I mean, how real that is, I don't know. But I just sort of can picture that, vision that back in the day. I think this is, when you start talking about rivalries, Mick, I think this is probably one of the more intense, consistent, better rivalries in college football. It's not Auburn, Alabama. It's not Ohio State, Michigan. It's not the rivalry maybe that everybody blurts out as soon as you mention great rivalries. But, well, there have been so many good games in this rivalry over the years. And I've been blessed enough to see a lot of them. I'm not surprised LSU's playing better. I thought they would be a team in the back half of the schedule that people would not want to play because they're talented. They've got younger guys that sort of need to learn how to play at this level, learn how to play together. I think they've done that. Jaden Daniels seems to be a lot more settled at quarterback than he was to start the season. He's been a factor running the football and throwing it. And it seems to be just more comfortable, more relaxed, and not playing like he's afraid to make a mistake. I think playing more instinctively. And that's made him a much more dangerous player and much more difficult to defend. So I think that's a big thing. They're young in the offensive line. They had the 2 freshman tackles. I think those guys are growing up a little bit. But, it's not like Ogeron, for what he was or wasn't as a coach, he didn't leave that place just barren. They've got talent. They've got kids on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball that'll play in the pros over the next few years. They just, just sort of went to pot there the last year that Ed was there. And then we probably all were guilty of watching that first game this year, just how dysfunctional LSU looked in that loss to Florida State. But they've come back, and I give Kelly a lot of credit. I mean, they played a lot better and looked much more representative of what you expect an LSU team to look like. And I think it'll be a good game. I still think Bama's better. I think you're going to see Alabama certainly coming off that Tennessee loss a couple of weeks ago. When they have lost under Saban, typically, they come back with a vengeance and really sort of make people pay down the stretch. And I would not be surprised to see that happen with his Alabama team.
Yeah, last question for you, Chris. Nick Saban, what was his reaction? Have you had a chance to catch up with him since the loss to Tennessee and all the penalties and everything else that has been going on with this Alabama team on the road? What's he thinking right now?
Yeah, no, it's not what you expect when you watch the Nick Saban team play. the penalties, the pre-snap penalties, the mistakes, just some of even some of the busts on defense. That's not what we've come to expect from Alabama football. And I know everybody wants to know why. They want to point the finger. Is it the staff turnover? Is Pete Golding? Bill O'Brien. I mean, coordinators are always the lightning rods. You know that. I mean, when things don't go right, well, we need to get a new coordinator, a new play caller. I can assure you this: Nick Saban hasn't lost his fastball. They have not played to his or anybody at Alabama standard. But they're also, if one play goes differently, one play in an Alabama game, then they went on the road, and they're the number one team in the country. We're all talking about, that Bama has the best win of anybody in college football, having gone to Knoxville and won. And I understand they won by 1 point at Texas in a game that had a few calls that went their way. The Tennessee game, I thought they had a few calls that didn't go their way.
Right.
But this is an Alabama team. I never expected Mick to be just a juggernaut. And truth be told, I don't know that Nick Saban expected this to be or went into the season thinking this is one of his more talented football teams. He's got a great player at quarterback, a great player at running back. They're good in their front seven, really good. They're not elite in their offensive line. They're not elite at receiver. They've struggled some in the secondary. I think, to me, one of the more fascinating storylines the rest of the way is what they continue to get out of Eli Ricks at quarterback, at corner. He was a lot better. Looked like a player that scouts are saying is a first-round draft pick last week against Mississippi State. He hadn't played much at all before that. I don't think that the way he practiced, his work ethic, some of what he had gotten done, he was, I think, really mostly in the coach's doghouse. And but he looked like he made a difference last week. And I think as they go forward against people that can throw the ball and certainly people who want to test him down the field, having a guy like Ricks who can run and cover and a guy who's done it. I mean, he played all last year at LSU. He can make a big difference for the Tide in that secondary.
Yep, and we'll see that matchup today as he takes on his old team. Always great to hear from you, Chris Lowe, and continue your awesome work at ESPN, and let's do it again soon.
I look forward to it, Mick. Thanks a lot, man.
He's the best in the business, Chris Lowe. Let me remind you guys that Cathead, the first legal distillery in the state of Mississippi, was founded in 2010 by friends and fellow Alabama grads, Austin Evans and Richard Patrick, to create small batch spirits that give the taste of the South with every sip. Best known for its flagship Cathead vodka, Cathead Distillery produces 5 award-winning brands today: Bristow Gin, Hoodoo Chicory Liquor, Liqueur, let me get that right, Old Soul Bourbon Whiskey, and Cathead Sparkling Canned Cocktails. Find out for yourself and pick some up for your next tailgate. That's catheaddistillery.com. When we come back, we're going to talk with Kenny White from Vegas, Reagan from R&R Cigar. Then we're going to get into this Alabama and LSU game. More Bama Insider Tailgate Show coming up next.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
The tradition of giving Daniel A. Moore fine art continues. We're pleased to announce 2 new national championship Giclée print and canvas editions. Remember the Rose Bowl with The Legacy Begins, Alabama's first national championship victory over Washington. And the top of the line, Alabama's 1980 Sugar Bowl triumph over Arkansas for its 11th title. Major Oakley autographed editions available. Visit New Life Art Gallery in Hoover or DanielMooreArt.com for these exciting new releases.
Tuscaloosa is Alabama's ultimate sports destination and a place for outdoor enthusiasts to thrive. It's a community rooted in history and one that's on the cusp of a burgeoning art scene too. Tuscaloosa is vibrant, it's charming, and it's familiar. Its people welcome you with open arms and warm hellos into a community that's tied together. Tuscaloosa is our home.
Touchdown! Hey guys, look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays, you'll be making the bets, and finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
Nothing compares to being at the game in person, but the next best thing has to be Flora-Bama's Old River Grill. There's over 40 TVs, a game day atmosphere, your favorite drinks, and a football menu that will blow you away. Santa Fe egg rolls, traditional jumbo chicken wings, grilled cheese and chili cheese dogs, and you've got to try our tender pork shank served with a tropical habanero sauce. We call them Island Pig Wings. Flora-Bama's Old River Grill, the perfect game day when you can't be there in person. Flora-Bama's Old River Grill, across the street from the world-famous Flora-Bama.
There's a new place where thrill meets chill, where the fun is always tropical cool, inside and out. The park at OWA is now Tropic Falls Theme Park, joined by the all-new indoor water park now open. Come to OWA and experience Tropic Falls. It's like nothing you've ever seen, with 23 theme park rides and 11 new indoor water park slides, complete with lazy river and arcade. All at Tropic Falls, only at OWA Parks and Resort. Buy your tickets online and save at visitowa.com.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines two of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Welcome back into the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, getting you set for today's battle between Alabama and LSU. Big game for the Crimson Tide as they head on the road to take on the suddenly hot number 10 LSU Tigers, according to the College Football Playoff Committee. All right, before we do anything else, though, let me remind you guys, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, the Bama Insider YouTube channel, like and subscribe, hit the thumbs up. We appreciate you being here. And if you're listening on radio across the state of Alabama, roll tide, everybody. This segment is brought to you by our friends at Pearl River Resort, our Vegas-style sports book, hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours from Birmingham.
Touchdown! Hey guys, look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays, you'll be making the bets, and finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
Easy to do. You got 5 kiosks, 10 VIP terminals, 3 retail stations. You got all the sports going on. World Series. You got college football, NFL, everything that you can think of. They have it at Pearl River Resort. You can watch it and gamble there. And right now, if you go over, you can play the Augusta. It is the Augusta. You can play Dancing Rabbit. Bet $50, and you can play around the golf for just $30. Find out for yourself. Swing over Pearl River Resort, the Golden Moon Casino, and the sports book at the Timeout Lounge. All right, let me bring on my panel of experts all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada, a guy that deals in the world of the odds every single day, the Wizard of Oz. What's up, Kenny?
Hey, Mick, how you doing? Looking forward to a good weekend. A lot of big games, and it's November. It's upset time.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen that, and from R&R Cigar in Tuscaloosa, our good friend Reagan. What's up, Reagan?
How do, pal?
I'm great. Well, look, let's get into these games. Let's throw it up there. We've got quite an array of games, including this one right here. Take a look at this hard. Auburn with Cadillac Williams, Reagan, is going to Mississippi State. Seems like an awful high line, 13. What do you think?
Well, I call him D'Lo Williams because he never had an ACL when he played for Tampa. So I'm not a – look, Auburn, I don't think it was just Harsin that was the problem. I think there's a whole issue at the program institutionally. That's why they got a new AD. It's Mississippi State. They don't have hands. They've evolved to the point they don't have hands anymore. I like the Bulldogs of Mississippi State.
Kenny White's power ratings. What do you think, Wizard of Odds? How do you like this Auburn versus Mississippi State matchup? 13 points over under 51.5.
I sure would have liked Mississippi State a lot more if Brian Harrison was the coach, because they definitely were not playing for him. And when you change coaches, it wakes people up. Somebody lost a job, it. You may feel responsible. Players play harder. But I'm not interested really in taking the points here. Mississippi State's just too good. And it's not just their offense, it's their defense. Auburn is bad because they don't have a quarterback. TJ Finley's been injured all year. Robbie Ashford is a 50% passer at best. Is as many INTs as touchdowns. That just doesn't get it in today's college football. So I think the defense steps up. I think Cadillac Williams says, hey, we got to run the ball. Give it to Tank Bigsby as much as we possibly can. Try to keep Mississippi State off the field. So I'm going to go under the total here of 52.
All right, let's take a look at our second game. This one's kind of intriguing to me. Notre Dame had a coaching change, right? I mean, we're going to talk about that game here in a second, but Brian Kelly was at Notre Dame. Now he's at LSU, Alabama and LSU at 6 o'clock tonight over in Death Valley at Tiger Stadium. But now it's Notre Dame trying to find some traction. They had a really nice win at Syracuse a couple of weeks ago, last week, and they're, maybe it's been a rocky year, but they're taking on Clemson, and the line's only 3.5. Kenny, that seemed odd to me.
Well, this time, Reagan, make sure you don't let Mick off the hook. He didn't give a pick for the last game. Don't let him get away with not making a pick for this game.
He tries all the time.
Hey, this is a Clemson team that's surviving. They're 8-0. They're 4-4 by the spread. They've gotten by a couple games. They continue to get a little bit better, I think, each week. DJ Ukulele, like Reagan likes to call him, and I've been calling him that for a while myself. Continues to he continues to get better, but he's still not a great quarterback like we thought he was going to be. We thought he was going to be a guy that could win a national championship. Don't think he's that guy. There's for sure he's not that guy. But Notre Dame struggled offensively as well because their quarterback play. So I'm going to lean to the under here in this game. I'm going under the total.
All right, Reagan, look, and let me throw it out there. I'm taking Mississippi State just to settle the argument here with you guys. All right, Reagan.
Look, I think Clemson's one of the better teams in college football. People can weep. I think it's disrespectful that they're at 4. I think that, we could go into a whole thing about the CFP rankings, but to me, Clemson has 3 top 25 wins. How many does the other teams ahead of Clemson in the CFP have? They have 3. Ohio State 1, Tennessee 1, Georgia 1. So, 3.5's nothing to cover. I like Clemson to cover. Hopefully they switch to the other kid at quarterback because they sure looked a lot better with him playing quarterback. But, 3.5, that's, to me, it's a toss-up. I think Clemson wins by a touchdown. I just don't think Notre Dame's very good.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Look, I know they were physical against Syracuse last week, but I'm not a believer in Notre Dame yet. Clemson seems to find a way to win. They did lose against Notre Dame a couple of years ago, but Ian Book isn't at QB right now. And I think that's going to be Notre Dame's problem, finding someone that can throw the ball and generate enough offense to win this football game. And I don't see them running on Clemson like that one. All right, so let's go to our third and final game today on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, hanging out with Kenny White and Reagan from R&R Cigar. Alabama at LSU, 13.5 points, 56.5 is the over-under, Reagan.
Well, I think Alabama wins, period. I think it's a joke that LSU is number 10. Texas being ranked and LSU being ranked are just absolute jokes to me. How do you lose to unranked teams and you're in the top 10 is beyond me. I don't get it, but but who knows? I don't think LSU is very good. People forget that Brian Kelly killed a kid, and I don't like Brian Kelly. I think he's lost a lot of weight down at LSU which is remarkable. But I think the job might be too big for him sometimes. I think the stage is going to be too big for him tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama shut LSU out.
Oh,
Jaden Daniels is a very good quarterback. And I think he's the type of quarterback that doesn't give Alabama fits, not very accurate. And once they stop him from running the ball, I think that's pretty much over. So Eli Ricks, I don't know why he didn't play versus Tennessee, but somebody smarter than me said he shouldn't play because he didn't practice well. So, go figure about that. But I think he's the difference maker on the defense, and I think Alabama beats them by more than 13.5.
All right, Kenny, what do you think, Wizard of Odds?
Yeah, my number's right on. I made Alabama 13-56 in this game. And Brian Kelly, when you said Brian Kelly, LSU number 10, I thought, oh my gosh, where do I have them ranked? I got them number 12, so I have moved them up quickly. They lost a 1-point game to Florida State to begin the year. And again, they looked horrible early. They made a horrendous comeback and got back in and almost won the game. They're definitely the better team. If they played Florida State again, they'd be a pretty good sized favorite against them. It would probably win that game. They lost to Tennessee. That Tennessee lost 27 points just 3 weeks ago. So shows how good Tennessee is. But LSU has shown improvement. And, I hate to lay points, but tell you, if you like Alabama, I'd lay the points now that I think this number does go up. I think it goes up to 14 and maybe even see 14.5 on game day.
Yeah, look, I'm going to agree with you, Kenny. I feel like Alabama's going to figure it out. They have to, because if they don't, it would be a 2010 type of season. Nothing to play for if they lose this game to LSU. Maybe they fall under the number. They've had some really tough games in Baton Rouge over the years. But I think Alabama's going to play with a chip on their shoulder. Eventually, they're going to figure out how not to generate so many penalties. And, and after what happened in the game against Tennessee, the officiating swung the other direction when they were against Mississippi State. So maybe that'll help them as well. But having Bryce Young back and healthy, being able to throw the deep ball is going to help the Crimson Tide. They always play their best football down in Baton Rouge for some reason. So I'm going with the Crimson Tide and giving up the points. All right, guys. Reagan, I'll start with you. What do you got going on at R&R?
Well, we have all the football. Going to be we got like another 24 days straight of college football every day. Big Black Friday sales. We've got the UFC next Saturday. Lots of stuff going on at the mansion. Great time to come in. Got a bunch of new bourbons and beers this week. And then we've got I guess we had the Drew Estate event last night on Friday night. So it was a lot of fun up here. But yeah, we've got the heaters on the porch, and we don't need the heaters yet because it's still 80 degrees. So maybe we'll get some fall here before it's over.
Yeah, and don't forget about Northport. Location in Northport, downtown Tuscaloosa, R&R Cigar. Thank you, Reagan. Always great to hang out. All right, he's the Wizard of Odds. Tell me what you got going on, Mr. Kenny White.
I wish that I could say we had some new bourbon and new beer. and some new cigars in, and we're having a big party this week. But no, it's all about information at KennyWhiteSports.com. The power ratings are $19.99 a month, and it's the Sports Equinox. You started the show that way, Mick. It's so busy right now with all of the professional sports at one time going on, with golf, with college basketball coming up in a couple of days. It's just ridiculous how busy it is right now. Also, the VIP club has been really good. That's you get 4 to 5 plays per day from different handicappers on my website. And those plays are handpicked, and it's been a great value for players, $150 for the month. And that gets you almost 150 plays, $1 a play for the entire month. So VIP Club's been great for a lot of people. Has won a lot of money in the last couple of months. So, yeah, get over to KennyWhiteSports.com if you want some sports betting information that's going to win you some money.
All right, let's do it. Hey, guys, and don't forget, as we talk to you from the Flora-Bama, we're giving away 6 pairs of tickets to OA theme park the next 2 weeks as we broadcast from the Flora-Bama. You're talking about 20 theme park rides, indoor water park. Visit OA.com for more.
Looking for something one of a kind? Shop downtown OA, where you'll find everything from handcrafted local favorites to national brands, high-end chocolates, Native American-inspired gifts. You'll find it in downtown OA.
We're going to break down Alabama and LSU. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show brought to you by Yingling Lager rolls on. We'll be right back after this.
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip, the best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
Hi, Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker.
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip, the best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
Hi, Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. Side stickers mean you pay thousands more. Everything is value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. No additional dealer markups. It's just that simple. So if you're tired of getting stuck with side stickers, no additional markup is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyline and Hargrove.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yingling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, near Home 2 Suites, or Northport, next to Winn-Dixie.
Cathead, the first legal distillery in the state of Mississippi. Founded in 2010 by friends and fellow Alabama grads Austin Evans and Richard Patrick to create small batch spirits that give the taste of the South with every sip. Best known for its flagship Cathead Vodka, Cathead Distillery produces 5 award-winning brands. Find out for yourself and pick some up for your next party or tailgate. CatheadDistillery.com.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Looking for something one of a kind? Shop downtown Owa, where you'll find everything from handcrafted local favorites to national brands. High-end chocolates, Native American-inspired gifts. You'll find it in downtown Owa. In downtown Owa, what you want is always on the menu. From wine and charcuterie to family-style meals and moonshine tastings. Dine in or outside overlooking the lake. Your table's waiting in downtown Owa.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines two of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Those guys every Thursday.
So it's Santa Drop as well?
All right, here we go. Back on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, hanging out with you at the Flora-Bama. And look at this crew right here, everyone. I got to just tell you, first off, the show's brought to you by Yuengling Lager. And I see Ben George, who is actually the founder of this show, drinking a Yuengling somewhere in North Carolina. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? I can't. You got to turn. You're muted. Hit that sound.
Guys. How are you?
Unmute.
Say that again.
You got me?
I think so. Yeah, I heard you say "got me." Okay. Well, hold on.
Yeah.
I know what the problem is.
Thing.
I know what the problem is. It's actually on our end. But I'm going to turn that on, and now we can hear you really good.
You're just a string pro.
Hey, there you go. There you go. What's
go.
up, man?
Awesome,
and
man.
Coleman
Awesome.
from
2 hours
Unique
into
Bar.
the show, we're good.
Look, there's so much to talk about. I see Coleman, my main man on the strip in Tuscaloosa, Unique Bar. What's up, dude?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. And this is Steve Powers from
Nice to meet you.
here at Flora-Bama.
Dan, good to see you again, buddy.
Good to see y'all.
Good to see
Good
you,
to see y'all, man.
Well.
Everybody's here. We're going to talk Alabama, but first off, good to see you, Steve. And you guys, you don't get these because you're not here with me right now. Passes to Owa.
I'm just going to be honest, guys. I really thought my radio career peaked a few months ago when I was on with the Next Round Live. But now I'm on this show, and it's like I'm not looking back. Plus, Next Round Live didn't do squat. And look at this. Me and the kids are going to Owa. It's going to be a great night. So, next round, we might listen to them next week.
All right.
We're here right now.
Thank you. And I see Dean in the comment section. How do you get some passes? You come by and see me, Dean, and I'll hook you up. All right, well, look,
here the Bama.
This is awesome, man. It's so cool. First off, Ben, I got to bring you into this first. I told them about what happened last time we were hanging out here. And so what they did was they brought me not one, not two, not three, but they brought me 4 different drinks. Although I haven't started yet. This is a cat head vodka.
Yep. Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary.
Yep.
Right. This one right here is
key lime colada.
This is a key lime colada right here, Ben.
Blue Cherry Bay rum, key lime. It's amazing.
Thank you.
That's a Bushwhacker. It's a Reese's Bushwhacker.
With Screwball peanut butter whiskey.
One, right? With Screwball peanut butter whiskey in that. And then the final one would be the banana split.
I'm going to try this one right now.
The banana split is
Ben,
good.
Ben, what happened? I just remembered, I've admitted this now, being part of this show. You were there that night. I told him that it was because I didn't know there were floaters. Maybe it was the oysters.
Okay.
The only thing I remember is that it didn't go well for me, and you were giving me dirty looks. So,
well, what time does this show end? Just making sure you're timing it out all right this time.
So if you get,
we still got 15 minutes.
If you get through all 3 of these, we're going to get the wheelchair that has bushwhacked written on the back, and that's how we're going to get Mick to his car.
He got kicked out of here before he worked here, though.
2014, Sirius, Escambia County's finest, escorted me out.
And now he works here.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's talk about this. I love this, by the way. This is too much fun for me as you guys hang out with us on the on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, getting you ready for Alabama and LSU. All right, I'm going to start with you, Coleman. Give me your take on this game right now.
Another win in Baton Rouge. This one's easy. 29-9-2 there all time for a reason. We have more wins in Baton Rouge than they have in the series. The visiting team has won 61% of all the games. The question is, do we cover 13.5? That's really the only debate in this game for me, and I think we do. I think 45-28 sounds about right. And I think that we cover, and I think the over hits.
What about you, Ben? Looking at this matchup, Alabama and LSU, this is a big game all of a sudden for the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you guys are closer to it right now than I am. To me, right now, I can't get a good feel for the team. Mistakes, just inconsistency has been an issue. But I want to see kind of what happens this weekend because Eli Ricks is back. I think he's a big part of the defense. I want to see the pass rush impact this game. I think it can. But I don't know. It feels like something is missing right now. I don't know what it is because it feels like they have all the pieces, but maybe it's just not the synergy that we've been used to in the past. Coleman's obviously pretty positive about this and optimistic, but
look how happy
I
he is.
I expect them to get in there and take care of business. And Coleman's usually pretty spot on these calls like this, but to me, I just can't quite get a good feel for this team yet. There's still a lot ahead of this team. But I'm very curious to see how this one plays out.
What are you thinking, Steve?
So I'm thinking that this is going to be a vengeance kind of game where it's like Bama comes out to prove it. There's been a couple of questionable games, as we know. There's been some questionable calls. And I can tell you this, we did the Halloween party last weekend here at the Bama for Halloween. And there was a guy dressed as a referee with a Tennessee Vols hat on.
Yeah,
they kept throwing flags all over, man.
This guy? Yeah.
So
I wasn't happy with that officiating.
I think if you're a true Bama fan, you know
he said he wouldn't have let him in there.
No. I think he put it on once he got in here. That was a deal. So I really think that Bama is going to come out and Nick's going to have them ready. And it's going to be time to prove it because there's been a couple of games. I think they covered the spread. There's no doubt about that. I'd bet on that. And I think this is the time where it's like, stop ranking us out of the top five because we're going to prove some stuff right here. And I really think this is a game. Even going into Death Valley, even at LSU, I take Bama on this because I think it's time that it turns, right? You got a boiling point.
Right.
A boiling point just happened, and this is where Bama takes it.
Jarvis, thanks for the $5 super chat. He says the Georgia-Tennessee game's a good appetizer for Bama. Look, I think so too, man. Tomorrow, when you talk about like football and everything that we love about the sport today, you got so many great games, and that's going to be one that I can't wait to watch. And then after that, we'll kind of see what's going on with Bama. Ben, do you think that the penalties and the turnovers will stop?
I mean, they got to eventually, right? I mean, at some point, it's got to average back out because it's way above where it normally is. But I mean, look, it's been a trend so far. If they can't get adjusted at this point, like I think this is a game where if they're still making mistakes at this point, it's time to just say, okay, this is who this team is, right? But if they can get out of this game, clean game, well played, escape Baton Rouge at night, cover the spread, move on, a bunch of games still ahead of them, then maybe I'll change my opinion. But right now, I just feel like something's off.
Something is off, but if this is, like I said, it's the boiling point, it's the pivotal time. This is the weekend where you turn the season, and the regular Bama fans go, okay, we're back, we're good, we're okay, because there's some questions out there right now. I agree with you.
Coleman, tell me what you got going on at Unique, and then the four of us will come back and wrap up the show.
Well, we have a good bit going on right now. I mean, obviously, we had Halloween last week. There was a bye week. Now we're at LSU. Next week we're at Ole Miss. So it's a little bit of a lull period, which is weird in the middle of the season to have it like this. But we come back with that huge Austin Peay game, and then Auburn. But more importantly, we have the We have the World Cup starting up soon. Ben, I'll explain to you about the World Cup later.
Did he just go to World?
He's not going to be there, so we'll be good. But we're excited about that, and we'll be open by 10 a.m. every day for all the games. All the U.S. games are at 1 p.m., so a good time in the afternoon to get out.
Gives you an excuse to day drink with you, Coleman.
Listen,
we need more reasons to day drink here in Tuscaloosa.
The World
We're
Cup,
open by 2 every day anyway already. That way the people don't beat down the doors and start coming in. But right now, I mean, you've got the World Series wrapping up. You've got NHL, NBA getting started. You've got everything going on. And so it's a good time.
All right.
I love the pivot to the World Cup. I think that was a great pivot on your part. I really do, because the promos for the World Cup are outstanding.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're
really
so good. So good, man.
Ben and I and Coleman, we like to watch the World Cup together. Now Coleman owns his own bar. But Ben, you don't live there anymore. So to be Coleman and I with the headbands on dancing. It'd be my
Black Friday trip down.
Hey, I love that.
You're going to probably be in Qatar at the game.
All right, let's take a break.
You going, pal?
When we come back, we're going to wrap this up. Alabama and LSU, the Bama Insider Tailgate Show.
Drink your drinks.
With drinks.
Drink your
right
drinks.
after this.
You got it.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip. The best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
Hi, Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. Side stickers mean you pay thousands more. Everything is value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. No additional dealer markups. It's just that simple. So if you're tired of getting stuck with side stickers, no additional markup is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, football is fine art. Now at newlifeart.com, see Daniel A. Moore's new 2021 Crimson and White Fine Art Calendar, featuring 13 dynamic images of defining moments from the Saban era. As a special offer to listeners of this show, use coupon code ROLLTIDE for $5 off each calendar. To order yours, call 1-800-735-2787 or visit newlifeart.com today.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Nothing compares to being at the game in person, but the next best thing has to be Flora-Bama's Old River Grill. There's over 40 TVs, a game day atmosphere, your favorite drinks, and a football menu that will blow you away. Santa Fe egg rolls, traditional jumbo chicken wings, grilled cheese and chili cheese dogs, and you've got to try our tender pork shank served with a tropical habanero sauce. We call them Island Pig Wings. Flora-Bama's Old River Grill, the perfect game day when you can't be there in person. Flora-Bama's Old River Grill, across the street from the world-famous Flora-Bama.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Touchdown! Hey guys, look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays, you'll be making the bets, and finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
From them. That's why they came to.
Back on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, hanging with Steve Powers, Ben George, Mr. Chris Coleman from Unique. Final segment of the show, guys. First off, again, am just so happy that you're here as we're talking Alabama and LSU. This is what I want, man. It's like a round table of guys that love the Crimson Tide, and now we can kind of go around the room. Steve, you started. Give me your prediction on today's game.
They cover the spread. 13.5, is that where we're at?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a problem. I think it's probably 21 or more because I think there's vengeance coming. I really do.
That make me take another drink.
And I'm telling you, I know it's Death Valley. I know it's a tough place to play, but I think Nick's got him ready. And I think he's just tired of the BS that's going on with the team and blaming the penalties on the refs. Listen, there's penalties there.
Right.
Even as a Bama fan, you have to go, listen, okay, we may have got a couple of bad calls, but there's some penalties there, and there's some cleanup that needs to happen. So I'm with you. I think you cover it, and there's no issues there.
All right, Chris Coleman, your thoughts on today's game?
45-28. We win. We cover the overhit. All is right in the world. They actually call holding on LSU's O-line, and they do it early in the first quarter. And because they do, they're not going to be able to. Will Anderson goes off, has a big game.
Dude, if they call holding in the first quarter, we all take a shot. Wherever you're at.
Deal.
Wherever
All
you're
these
at,
drinks.
you got to do it.
How are you some drinks,
Gotta
Ben
do it,
George?
man.
I got to tell you, man, it is great to see you, my brother, see your face on the show that you created, that you need to be back on more. Your thoughts on today's game, man?
I mean, with everything that I said, I still think Alabama finds a way to cover. I don't know, 38-21. I hadn't really put down a score as of this point, but I'll throw one out now for the first time for this show. 38-21. I just think Alabama's offense is going to find their way to score no matter what, and I just think their defense will limit Daniels, get to him, cause him pressure, and force him to make a few mistakes. LSU's played really well this year, and I credit Brian Kelly for actually making this a 14-point spread when I don't know what it was during the summer. It had to be 21, 24 points. So he's closed the gap a little bit. But I think we'll see that it's, more so that they've kind of benefited from a favorable schedule so far. And Alabama's just a better team.
Ben, you and I have been around this team together for a long time, the program anyway. Is there a team that these guys remind you of?
I mean, that's a good question. I think they're very unique, Coleman, right? Shout out. It's mainly because, it's a mix of, they have a ton of good talent, but it doesn't feel like this is the best, I guess, team, right? Collection of individuals, but they have the best talent they've had in a while. So I don't know. It's a different team, but I just hope to what you've said before. I just hope they answer the bell this weekend, take that step forward, because there's a whole lot left. And I want to see these scenarios come together with like a 3-1 loss SEC teams, Bama winning the championship, SEC championship, and just let these dominoes fall.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, but last, you guys got to make it quick on this one. If Alabama loses, is this the crack in the dynasty, Steve?
Absolutely. A pivotal game, boiling point, whatever you want to call it. This really dictates what happens for the rest of the season and how the fans are like, either you go, we're going to be okay, or we're going to wait till next year. I think that's what this game is.
Coleman?
I mean, it shows a weakness, absolutely, but I don't think it necessarily ends it until Nick says it's over. You look at what we have coming in talent-wise, and I agree we have a lot right now, but would it be the 2010 10-3 underachieving 10-3 team, and then all of a sudden you bounce back and you see title after title? That wouldn't surprise me either.
Ben, if Alabama loses, can they blame it on the oysters?
You might. Listen,
corn dog. It's all blamed on corn dog.
There's not a crack in the dynasty.
Corn dog.
Sorry, man. You're
all
being
good.
here and me being back at the Flora-Bama. I had to just do that.
You gotta
man.
throw oysters in
I
it.
didn't take all the drinks at the end this time.
Let me just say this. I'll be worried when Alabama loses, and it's not because the team had their best game yet. Questionable calls, 17 penalties, right? A last-second field goal. Like, it still takes the top effort of the best team in the country right now to still win by 3. So.
Ben, does anybody talk more beat than Tennessee fans?
And look, I never thought that us and Georgia would be friends at this point in the season and like have common ground early November. But I think our fan base and their fan base all pulling for the same thing this weekend.
It's just, I'm tired of hearing it.
I think you got to realize what Tennessee fans think this win was, right? And as Alabama fans, you have to go, listen, it's a big enough dynasty that they feel that confidence that win makes and breaks their program. I mean, that was a great win, no doubt, but it doesn't make their year.
Yeah, don't spike the football on the 30-yard line. Hey, I want to thank everyone here at the Flora-Bama. We're going to be back next week again to do the show from right here when Alabama plays the Ole Miss Rebels. They open every day from 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. Free bingo Monday to Friday. You get your bushwhackers and all these different drinks which have been hanging out. You can get a cold Yingling here as well.
Yep.
You can get a great Bloody Mary. You could get screwball shots.
Yep.
You can get screwball floaters. Steve, anything else?
If you order a bushwhacker with no screwball shot, you ain't right. You got to do it, man.
You ain't right.
It's just, you got to do it. You got to do it. Come and see us. We'd love y'all.
Yeah, come by and hang out. And all of you guys, man, Coleman, Ben, and Steve, thank you for coming on, man. This was awesome. I enjoyed it. Can you guys come back next week? Can you guys come back and do this again next week? Ben, can you do it, Coleman?
I'm free every day, all the time. I make my own schedule.
Let me throw this out there. December 10th, Army-Navy game. I'd love to have you here.
Yeah, I'm coming back.
I'd love to have you here.
I'm coming back for Army-Navy for Ben's dad.
It's in the main room. Couple
Ben
of
George
the owners.
Sr.
Couple of the owners. One's Army, one's Navy. It's an incredible, incredible room
And
here
Ben,
at the main.
you come and bring your
Come
dad.
on. Come on.
Tell him what happened last time. Just tell him.
At the end of the game, everybody sang, locked arms. They sang with what was on the big screen in the main room. I cried. I got tears.
You got choked up, man.
I got choked up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Seriously, it's an amazing event. December 10th, we want to see you here for sure. Plus, Santa Claus skydives in that day
It's gonna
on
be
the
great.
beach. It's going to be great.
Don't forget, after the game, check out the BamaInsider YouTube channel. I'll be on there taking your calls. We'll be talking about how everything went down with Alabama and LSU, getting you your chance to sound off. And then like and subscribe to the BamaInsider YouTube channel. 80,000 subscribers as of last week. How about that?
Son of a
Number
gun.
one, right?
Absolutely.
And we are taking over the world, the new world order of team coverage. All on BamaInsider.com right now. $10 gets you an entire year. So
Well
do
done,
yourself
y'all.
a favor. You
Well
got
done,
Andrew
y'all.
Bone on there and everyone else. Chris Daughtry behind the scenes. Kyle Henderson for our entire crew. I'm Mick Gillispie. Thanks for hanging out with us. That does it for
Roll
the
Tide.
Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Roll Tide,
Roll Tide.
everybody. Alabama and LSU at 6 o'clock.